We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you another episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody, already in progress.
Last night.
So when you have a cigar 24 hours later, you're tired?
No, it's a school night, so I probably I
Were
had
you smoking in the boys' room?
no, but I told Sheila, I said, look, this and I know it's not the weekend, but I want to have a cigar. I just need to clear my mind last night a little bit. I was kind of I don't know how to describe it. You ever get that way where you're
Foggy.
not foggy, but just kind of a lot of stuff going on. You need to relax.
Yeah. Yeah. I usually take just a spot of heroin.
As I say, smoke a J,
Yeah.
loosen up.
Hey, Dave, we're back.
Oh yeah, shoot. Is it recording now?
Yes, it is. Be careful. So
Well,
anyhow,
just for the
I,
record, never
I know
done.
I explained 100 times. That's how the YouTube algorithm works, in case you want to know.
Yeah. Well, you broke it down pretty nice. I think a lot of people try to, get to it and then they
It's why
fail.
our numbers are booming, Dave, because we're doing so
We
well.
exploit it.
Yeah, we exploit the YouTube algorithm, and when people subscribe, just easy, just clicking that bottom button over there, people.
So we're booming there, but we're slacking down on the old Spotify, sir, huh?
Well, I guess the the whatever feed you choose to listen to this wonderful podcast on, we do this for free, people. I mean, I'm talking to the crowd now, not you, Dave. We do this for free for your entertainment. All we ask is for, to maybe donate a couple $1,000 here and there to the program.
I was gonna say it's we do it for opportunity cost.
We just, what is that for par or whatever? No, 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 that's what you buy it
No,
at, right? Yeah.
opportunity cost is opportunity lost. We could be doing something else. Like I could be smoking a
Oh,
cigar.
like watching TV.
Yeah, or washing the dog or something like that. Whatever.
Hey, I
But
got some bad news for you,
yeah.
other than our show numbers. Shania Twain is going to end her residency in Vegas. So she's going to end it right after the Super Bowl this year.
Where's she going?
I don't know. She's going to end the residency portion of her career. She's out
So
there.
she's got a gig out there where she has to live and work out there the whole
Yeah,
time.
like you do 5 shows a week or something like that in the same place. And trying to remember, is it Hard Rock? I think she's at the Hard Rock
That's
out
gotta be
there.
hard living, you think about it.
Well, it sounds great, right? I don't have to tour, be on the road all the time. I can be home every night. So some people like that. But at the same time, you probably doing 5 to 6 shows a week, I'm
I bet they
assuming.
do
Maybe
more than
two one
that.
day, one the rest, or something like that.
Yeah, well, who was the guy that was like Mr. Vegas forever? The dude.
I could picture him. He was in Vacation,
Yeah, not Tom
Vegas.
Jones. Tom Jones did that too, but the other guy,
Pat
Kelly was
Kelly,
doing
please weigh in. Let us know who we're thinking of. Wayne
Wayne Newton.
Newton. There we go.
I think he did 2 or 3 shows a day.
He's great. Well, he didn't really sing. He just kind of talked in a melodic tone through the songs.
You know what I've been doing? I've been watching, this algorithm thing we keep talking about on Facebook. Johnny Carson, of course, he's dead. But the
What?
Carson Library, I know, I didn't know.
There's
The
a
Carson
library?
Library, the way he made so much money is he owned the show.
Oh, okay.
And so I guess his estate is just cleaning up, but I don't know how they're making any money on watching Facebook clips unless there's some sort of advertising tied to it. But anyway, there's a ton of Carson that's playing again on Facebook, and it's early Carson, so all the Don Rickles and the
Yes.
um
I
Dean Don, what's his name?
Dean Martin,
Dean
but
Martin and all the Dean Martin roast shows,
yeah,
with
yeah.
Foster Brooks and all those guys. I've been watching a ton of that. Yeah, I don't know. I just
Do they
it's so
bleep out the inappropriate
no,
stuff?
they cuss, but Dean Martin, he was drunk every time he was on TV. I mean, he walked out with a stiff drink in his hand. he sat there with a cigarette. It wasn't a prop. He was smoking it,
Yeah, I know.
and,
They would smoke
and he
heavily.
was. I think what I don't know what other than he was he was a good looking fellow and he could sing. He could definitely sing. So I don't think I think his only shtick was he was a ladies' man. And,
An actor.
well, yeah, I guess so. But later in years, when he started doing the roast, he was just hammered the whole time. And it was just stupid humor. And Rickles was an animal. Did you ever watch any of his stuff?
Yeah, the guy doesn't stop, and he can't
Well,
turn him off.
and the stuff the racial slurs that they said were like,
Well, that's what I meant by bleeping out. I didn't mean cussing. I meant the
oh, they
ritual
went after like
slurs.
Nipsey Russell. It was just the stuff they were saying was like, you can't say that stuff.
Right.
But
But
it was,
it was acceptable at the time, I guess, to the parties that weren't being made fun of, right? It
so
was
Rickles was Jewish, and
well,
so
yeah,
and so I mean there was nobody that was safe
no,
if you look like an Irishman or the Catholics, the Jews, and
anything.
Presbyterians. He'd go after everybody, and the stuff they said was just like, oh my gosh. Um, yeah, I don't know. We couldn't pull that off today. That's for sure.
Well, it's
We
funny.
live in a
I've
different
told
world.
you my story where I drove you know who Sam Phillips is, the guy who built Sun Studios in Memphis, kind of discovered Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
Um, I had to drive him around one time in my car, and because he's a consummate drunk, and his driver had to go somewhere else, and he wanted to see something that was associated with the radio station I was at. So I'm like, I'll drive him out there. So here I am in my early 20s in my
Camaro.
90. No, I had a little Tercel, silver Tercel hatchback, and I got Sam Phillips in my passenger seat driving him around Memphis. And I don't know, about a month later or two, he was on David Letterman.
Huh.
And he was in New York for some award show or something. He was so blotto. He was sliding out of his seat next to Letterman on the stage. It was awful. So yeah, they continue to drink heavily when on the shows. But are you
Well,
enjoying the Carson bits? Or are you just marveling at its
no. So
inappropriateness?
Carson for me, he came on 11:30. He was, the late show, and my parents, I had to be in bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock as a young person, someone like in grade school and junior high. But as I got a little older, my father loved Carson, and he
Yeah,
would stay up and
everybody
watch him.
did, right? I mean, it was
Yeah.
the only thing on past the news.
Well, and on certain nights, I was privy to stay, and it was a way for Dad and I to connect. And my father had a infectious laugh. He was a big fella, and once he'd start laughing, he'd start like I do, kind of start crying, and
Right.
it was as much fun to watch him laugh and be a part of that as it was to watch. But the shows, they still got me. I was belly aching on the driveway last night having a cigar, and especially Jonathan Winters. That's another
That's who I
guy.
was trying to think of.
Yeah,
He was one of my favorites, man.
man, he just cracks me up. And I think I must get some of my humor the way I tell a story sometimes from him, from watching
I
him as a kid.
and that must also be true of me because growing up for me, my favorite things as a child were, well, Bugs Bunny as a cartoon
Yeah, that was my
goes,
favorite cartoon.
Three Stooges,
Mm,
Abbott and Costello,
I
all that
love that.
it was all that physical humor. And no matter what I'm watching, when someone slips and falls or whatever, whether it's in a comic thing or not, I start laughing. I have to really control myself if it's a serious matter. I'm like, I'm so sorry. It's just hilarious to me to watch that stuff happen.
Yeah, the pratfalls are.
Yeah, so if I ever
Good.
got into comedy, I'm sure I'd be a physical, like a Chevy Chase or something along those lines where
Well, I
you rely
just
on the
saw
physical nature.
an interview with Michael Richards, the guy that played Kramer,
Yeah, oh God, he
and
was been exiled forever.
he did that one. Interesting enough, he served. These guys aren't as young as I thought they were, but he's 70. He's my brother's age. He's 54. No, he was born in
I
54.
was going to say, wait a
Yeah,
second.
he's born
So
in 54, so he's like 75.
he's that old. Okay.
Anyway, so he served in the Vietnam War. So when he got out of high school, he went over to the army, and I don't even ever see him in that position, but he said the army was good for him because it made him grow up. But he got into theater. They draft I don't know if he drafted or he signed up, I can't remember.
Right.
But he joined the theater troupe and he was part of the, spread the word about the army and the armed forces, whatever that turned out to be. But um
Not the
he
USO, right? But the
no, it was some branch of the army where
right.
like the band or something.
Propaganda.
Yeah. But he talked about how pratfalls, how he was inspired some of the great early greats, some of the guys we just talked about, and it was as much an art as it was a science almost to incorporate some of those falls and the way they did things. I don't know. I'm always intrigued by people that of the arts that
Yeah.
entertain us, especially the ones that are good.
Well, he had that, he had the weekly entrance into Jerry's apartment. The way he slid through the door.
Yeah, and there's several things on YouTube you can find about outtakes with them,
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
and he's always screwing things up for the other guys, but it's funny to watch because you think he's not that serious, but he's quite the serious actor. He gets frustrated. He'll get frustrated with Louis Dreyfus, like, come on, we're on to something here. Get it together because I can't hold this the whole time. What I don't know.
Right.
I am fascinated by the art form of entertainment, but like I said, just especially like the good ones, but I could never do it. So,
You haven't asked about my new cowboy hat.
well, I was just getting ready to let you know that that's quite a fedora you're sporting there.
I don't know if that's a fedora,
Well, it's something.
but no, that's that gentleman right there.
That's that's
Hey,
uh
buddy.
that's Geronimo, isn't it?
Yeah, very good. Very impressed. I mean, it helps. I told you who it was before the
Well,
show started.
pre-show. When you go through the pre-show, it sounds like you're really smart. All right, fun fact. Do you know what tribe Geronimo was the chief of?
Something Indians.
Uh, Not the Washingtons. Alexa, what tribe was Geronimo the chief of?
From howstaunch.gov, Geronimo was the chief of the Apache tribe in the United States.
The old Apaches. There you go.
Yeah. And I have them on my screen today
Why?
because today in history is when he surrendered to the U.S. troops.
Wow.
Yeah. I think he's held in high regard as far as history goes, right? I mean,
I think he was a pretty tough dude.
right. I don't think there's a negative about him, or I mean, obviously we could debate the whole who's right or wrong, but I just mean in terms of
No,
history.
I think to realize for your people's sake that you're outnumbered, outgunned, and outhorsed, at some point, I don't know. I don't know how they felt about surrender. Like the Japanese never surrendered. It was part of their battle cry was to go down.
Right.
I don't know how
Well,
that.
what's not known is that to prove to his fellow compatriots how tough they were, he would jump off like a high place quite often down to the ground to prove just how strong he was. And so that's where the term that's why we yell Geronimo when we jump out of airplanes or off anything. Geronimo.
So he was a bit of a narcissist. He said his own name.
No, I don't. I don't think he said Geronimo. I think all the people on the ground were like, "No, Geronimo!" You know, when he was jumping, and then it became known as Geronimo.
So he was constantly like, "What?
Yeah, whoa! He falls off.
I don't think that story holds any water."
You don't think so?
Well, we did the pre-show, it's hard
Well,
for-
Dave, you're supposed to play along and act
I'm
smart.
supposed to lie with you.
Yes. I think my version is much more entertaining. We
Well,
learned. Go ahead, you tell us.
No, I'm not gonna tell it. To your point, it's a lesson of Boulder Dash. How do you encapsulate this story about this? Everyone knows when you were kids, we did it, right?
Yeah.
I think
I
I
still
remember,
do it today. With my kids when they were growing up, like Geronimo.
I think I remember riding my Schwinn banana seat with sissy bars over
You
the
have
ramp.
the tassels,
Tassels with the playing cards and the spokes going over the built ramp that we made, going Geronimo. Let's find out for the kids in the back of the room why we do that. Because this is a trusted source, by the way.
Yeah.
Have you heard about what's going on with Alexa? We'll get back to that in a second.
All right.
Alexa, why do we scream Geronimo?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Are you full of answers before? Alexa, why do we yell Geronimo when we jump?
From thegunzone.com. Paratroopers shout Geronimo as they jump to show their fearlessness and courage.
Okay, there
See?
you go.
Just like I told you.
So he was a paratrooper.
But we did hear in a previous answer that some guy just yelled it one time and everybody just started doing it.
Yeah, and it became something
Ubiquitous.
of paratroopers.
Yeah.
Ubiquitous.
So-
Yeah, I picked up on that.
That's not the word of the week.
That's good because I know that one. All right, so hold on. Alexa, was Geronimo outcasted for his surrender?
From Historinet.com. Geronimo is well remembered for having surrendered twice, 6 months apart, in 1886.
He must
What?
have
You
been
didn't hear me
French.
the first time?
He must have been French. Joke, but he must have been French.
Oh,
Hold
boy.
on. Alexa, was Geronimo respected amongst his Indian friends for surrendering? That's terrible.
Are you
From
kidding me?
oldtimemusic.com.
Yeah.
Geronimo is a respected and revered figure in Native American culture, known for his determination and bravery in the face of adversity.
Okay.
I like to think he is. I mean,
I think he is. I don't remember a whole. Yeah, I don't have a great memory. So, and I don't have any memory of negative stories being told of Geronimo. So,
Alexa, when did Geronimo die?
Geronimo died on February 17, 1909, at the age of 79 years.
that's pretty
Well,
old
quite
for
a long
1909.
time.
Yeah.
Scoot over so I can see his face one more time. Yeah, he looks pretty determined. I don't know if I
Yeah.
want to meet up with him in a dark pasture, middle of the night.
Hey, so I'm not going to squeeze in the word of the week
Okay.
because I want to see if I want you to take a crack at it. Notaphily. No, notaphily. Notaphily.
No to Philly. Not a filly. That means it's an older horse.
Well, no, well, that or you root for the Pirates, maybe.
That's true. No to Philly. No to Philly.
Yeah, because I would consider you a notaphily. Well, I myself as well.
No to Philly.
It's a hobby. Mm-hmm. You'll never get this if you
Collecting your toenail clippings.
No, but take the first word,
No,
second syllable.
not. Nota.
Note.
Note.
Yes.
Philly. Someone who writes notes.
No, but
Keeper of the notes,
collector of banknotes.
as in dollar bills.
Yeah. So I thought, hey,
Is it historical context to that, or just you like
says
having
it's
caffeine?
I could look up the origins, but it says origin Latin 1970. What? It just started. That can't be right. I don't understand why it says 1970. But the word stems from the Latin nota, meaning note, and philia, an ancient Greek term meaning fondness. So you have a fondness for cash,
Well, notaphilia.
which I would say fits us well. So,
Is that like nectrophilia?
well, you do like something. You have a special fondness for something. Yes.
That's not good, Dave. I'll let you
Uh,
figure out what that is.
I'm
All
not
right.
jumping on that bandwagon.
No, don't. It's disgusting. So did you hear about Alexa today? What she
Oh,
got
yeah,
herself
yeah, yeah. You were
into?
going to tell me a little story about Alexa.
So apparently on the Twitter, the tweet on the X
Twittersphere.
Twittersphere, someone had asked their voice, what do you call these things? Voice system, a question if they should vote for one of the two presidential candidates. And so when they ask if, what are the redeeming factors or what should they vote for?
Should I vote for? Yeah.
Yeah, should I vote for Donald Trump? She came back and said she's not at liberty. And I'm paraphrasing. I'm not at liberty to discuss
Well, why don't
politics.
you try it right now?
Well, I will.
Just tell her to stop. Yeah.
Alexa, should I vote for Donald Trump?
I cannot provide content that promotes a specific political party or a specific candidate.
Okay.
That's different.
Alexa, should I vote for Kamala Harris?
I cannot provide content that promotes
So
a
they have
specific
fixed it.
political party
Yeah.
or a specific candidate.
Yeah, so there's the patch. Apparently she was saying, oh yeah, Kamala, she's the greatest. And it went on to this whole lengthy diatribe about why you should vote for her, and then the Donald Trump one was dead nuts. So I wanted to ask her
She speaks for the people, Dave. It's machine learning.
Yeah, that's right. So listen to this. Alexa, is Fox News a trusted news agency?
From Forbes.com. If a survey published Tuesday by Public Policy Polling is to be believed, Fox News is the most trusted name in TV news.
Okay, hold on. Alexa, is CNN a trusted news source?
From archive.org. CNN identifies itself as, and is widely known to be, the most trusted source for news and information.
It's just going off a tagline, that's all.
Well, I know, but Alexa, is MSNBC a trusted news agency?
From asapland.com. MSNBC is best known for its live news coverage, including breaking news updates and in-depth analysis of current political events.
Any other news source you want to challenge?
Well, so far they're all the best.
Yes. Well, that's what they all tell us.
I don't know. I thought it was interesting, but she got busted today. And...
Well, I don't know. Like I said, it just shows. We've talked about AI before. It can be gamed, and it's. Well,
I was trying to work around with the pronunciation. Hold on. Alexa, should I vote for Kamala Harris?
I cannot provide content that promotes a specific political party or a specific candidate.
I wonder if the keyword is Harris or vote. What do you think the key word is? Because that's what it's looking for.
I think it can figure out any variation of that.
Alexa, who is the best vice president?
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah.
Hold on, one last one. Alexa,
all right.
Is Kamala Harris a good vice president?
This might answer your question. Kamala Harris is the current vice president of the United States.
Yeah, they've cleaned her up. They've cleaned her up a little bit. She got herself in a little bit of hot water today. Yeah.
Well, it depends on what side of the aisle you're on.
Well, they said that the people at Amazon have donated to the Democratic. We all know those, so it doesn't matter. We're not about the politics per se on this channel.
I don't like that it's about money anyhow, but it does seem to follow.
Well, I don't know what world you live in, but money does make the world go round, they say.
It does, but it shouldn't make who's the best candidate. So,
well, apparently none of them are. Neither.
Right.
All right.
Hey, so we talked about Zen words last week, right?
Yeah.
curing Alzheimer's. Well, I got an update for you. Apparently, it also restores your youth.
Your
According
Ute.
your youth. It makes you younger. So not only has it solved Alzheimer's, but it's solved aging.
Does it help these age spots on my hands?
Well, I don't know. Have you tried Zen words yet?
What do? You rub them on your skin or something? Or
I don't know, but according to the ad, the new guy, he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and because he plays this game every day, he's doing much better, and in fact, he feels even younger, makes him feel more youthful. So this is a pretty magic game
I thought it was carrot juice that did that.
that I've stumbled onto. So I just want to share that with our listening
Have you
public.
downloaded the app?
No, because here's my deal with apps, especially gaming apps. Once I downloaded, I'm hooked, right?
You got
And
to play it
so,
first.
well, yeah, but generally, so I limit myself to two at any given time on my phone, so as not to take up more of my time than needed.
So
So I
you have
do,
a phone, which we call a smartphone, I presume, that has
yes,
more computing power than they had on the Apollo 11
yes,
mission, and you limit your to two apps.
they're gaming apps.
What are the rest of the apps tied to?
Oh,
Your coin collection
yeah,
and your bill collection.
email, your TV stuff, home automation,
Apparently tracking
podcasts.
what flights Dave's on.
In fact, I was
Well,
talking to a buddy of ours today who was flying out of Vegas, and I was showing him the how I could track. I said, "Look out the window. I bet you there's a Delta 757 sitting out there." He's like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" And
did you
I
see it flying by?
now I saw his plane take off. Yeah, because I gave him the link to a plane spotter out there in
Wait a minute.
Vegas.
Can you get a video of it, or is it just like a map?
No, well, there's two different things. One's a map. And then what I did is on YouTube, there's people, plane spotting is a huge thing, and they go out to these airports around the world and uh,
Yeah.
stream the airports, coming and goings of planes and stuff. And so he gave me his flight number, and I watched on the app, I could watch it taxi out, and then on the stream on YouTube, I saw it take off. So.
Is that what you were doing when I was flying, or you just
No, yours, I just used the app for that. I think it's fascinating because you could be on you ever wonder, I think it's fascinating. Planes in general fascinate me. The whole operations behind the scenes and everything fascinate me. But like when a plane's flying overhead, you can look on the app and see what flight it is, or what's above you. And it's flight radar, and I use that, and flight aware are the two I use. And what's kind of cool is like I'll see one up there from Germany on its way to, I don't know, Chicago or something, or LA or something. And I'll think, okay, the last time that plane touched ground was in Germany before it got, it hasn't touched the ground since. It's just fascinating to me that you can look up there and see something from thousands of miles away. Um, and know its origin and where it's going, and if it's on time, how high it is, all that kind of stuff.
which sounds like a good tool for Homeland Security, some nut jobs out there. But no, I share your wonderment though, because
Yes.
as a child, I don't know if you ever did this. This sounds kind of corny, but we actually did this in our front yard in Orlando during the summer months. We would fly kites first of all, and something kids don't do anymore today. But we would
Yeah, that's true,
literally
isn't it?
lay in the front yard with this beautiful, I guess it was St. Augustine grass. I don't know what it was, but
Ugh,
it was
can't
comfy
stand it.
though. And we could lay in the front yard, and we weren't flying kites. We lived near Orlando International Airport,
Right.
and so they would, kind of see the belly. We weren't that close, but close enough to see the planes coming over and stuff. But what really used to get me, and to this day it bothers me. I have no problem flying, of course,
Right.
and when I'm in the plane, doesn't bother me at all. I can look around, see all these people around me, and look out the windows and look at 35,000 feet off the ground. I'm okay. But as soon as I'm laying on my back or I look up in the sky and one flies over at, say, 35,000 feet, I can see in my mind's eye every person in the plane. And
What?
and I started to imagine there's 150 souls on that plane. And look at the distance between me and the ground and them. And
Right.
oh my gosh, that whole tin can
Yes.
is full of 150 people walking around, getting drinks, getting biscuits or whatever. It scares the crap out of me that this
Yeah.
thing is somehow maintained.
Magically in the air. Right.
Yeah, but as soon as I'm in it or on
Yeah.
one, it's like, big deal, no big deal.
Well, I'm afraid of heights, but for some reason, and I'm not afraid of heights, but I'm very uncomfortable around them. And uh, and apparently this is the case with all people. When you look out the plane window at 30,000 feet, eh, you know,
Well, I liken it to, I can't remember where this was, but I was in my furniture days. It wasn't uncommon for us to go out to a site visit way before the building was done.
right,
And I remember going up to this office building, and it was like a 6-story building, and it had that center. The offices ran around the outer side. There was a
right.
center concourse inside that was open, like a big, terrarium and stuff. Anyway, so there was no railing
Oof.
on the walkway that was closest to the open space. And I remember thinking, "Holy crap! You got to get me back toward the wall because I don't even go close to it, you
That's
know."
how I am.
And so, but 3 weeks later, it was completed and it had a glass wall with a rounded wood,
Yeah.
and I'm like leaning against the
I'm trusting that
the railing,
the guy getting paid $13 an
yeah, the
hour
minimum bid,
screwed
the
that
minimum
screwed
bid
that
to
in.
put it in. But then as soon as that thing's there, it's like, oh yeah, no problem. So I don't
Well,
know.
I want to back up a little bit because I'd like to get some Sigma Chi in. But one of our brothers, in a chapter Eternal, Mark Cochran.
Oh yeah, Mark.
Yeah, we
Wow.
used to work on it one summer. Me and him worked on a construction site, and it wasn't uncommon for us to have some beer after work. And every day we drove. Remember the Beeline Expressway? Is that what it was
Yeah,
called?
sure.
Yeah,
528.
we would go by and you cross under the main landing path for the aircrafts going into Orlando International
Yeah.
at the time. And he would always lean out the window and go, man, how do they get all that steel in the sky? Every day we went by, he would do the same, like stoner moment, as I would call it. Like, wow.
You're like
Oh,
aluminum.
right. So I
No, it
that's
is
one of my
fascinating.
favorite stories of Mark. So
Mark.
that, and I'll tell you the other story. This shows you where we've evolved from. So speaking of my Camaro from earlier,
Yeah.
the this is right about the time they started requiring seat belts, right? Normally we didn't wear them prior to 87 or so.
Yeah.
It wasn't law, and you just didn't wear them. You were dumb. And so anyhow, the piece you plug your seatbelt into on my right side would fall way down below my seat all the time, and I could
Yeah.
never reach it. And my thought was, well, if I get pulled over, I need to put my belt on real quick. And if it's way down there, I'm never gonna, because they just started the law. I'm not gonna. So I had an old Milwaukee full, what do they call them? Tall boys, right?
The long necks.
Long necks. Thank you. Thank you. And I jammed it underneath the seat so it would hold the piece upright for me. And so I'm in Florida, 100-degree days throughout the year. It's probably been in there 2 years. And Mark was thirsty on the way home from work one day, and I said, "Well, I got an old Milwaukee." He drank some of it. He got so sick.
Oh man.
It was hilarious. So God bless Mark Cochran. So
We had
we
a
didn't
lot
get to
more
see him.
involved. I mean, I lived at the house. He was there at the house when I
That's
lived
right.
there.
Right.
Um, yeah, his passing messed with me a little bit.
Yeah, because he was in our group.
Well, he just, I don't want to dwell on this too much, but since you're here,
Yeah.
he played baseball
Yes.
for the Knights, and those baseball players were um, loose cannons. He got in a big fight with.
They always were. They still are to this
Yeah.
day,
Well,
baseball
I think it's
players.
because basically they're high school kids, and they get elevated to a higher level and they
Right.
never reach a maturity level. But he was in college playing and he was a pitcher and he got into this big fight and they about killed the guy. I mean, he broke his eye socket and
His jaw.
his jaw was all messed up and
Well, you know
but
why? Because he was sitting on the bench because he was a pitcher himself. And so he was in the rest days or whatever. And he was sitting in the benches or something. And he started razzing the guy pitching, one
yeah,
of
he was
his fellow
lipping. I'm sure he
teammates.
was
Like,
lipping off.
yeah, just in a fun way, though. And then the guy sucker punched him in the locker room. They left him on the floor. And the coach even left him on the floor, which
I
was
didn't hear all those
horrible.
stories.
I
Yeah,
remember we all I went to the hospital to
he
visit
was
the
in
poor
bad
guy.
shape.
Yeah.
But
So
that aside, he always he always projected a very youthful, not that he was going to live forever, but when I found out that he had passed, it just really, it bothered me. I was like, man, that's not right.
yeah.
Mark shouldn't go before the rest of us. That's just not, that didn't seem right. But that happens too, right? Anyway, we do have some other chapter news to end on a good note. I don't
We
want to give
do.
too much privacy, but the Big Alan, and his
Oh,
wife Anna are new grandparents.
yeah, new
So
or first time?
I think it's their first time.
Didn't he just put a kid in college?
I think the son is the last one, and he
Okay.
just graduated. Maybe he's in law
Okay.
school or something.
All right.
I don't know, but their eldest daughter, I think Sarah's the eldest. She had a baby. I don't want to give too many family secrets away, but they delivered early this morning.
Oh, it's as recent as today. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm
So
surprised he
congrats.
didn't call me.
Well, he did text me because
Okay.
I'm a friend.
I
No,
see
but
where I rank.
well, yeah. So congratulations to the Fidelos
Yeah.
and
So is he going to
Tim.
go by Pappy
Well, I told
or
him. I think I sent him a text that says, "Well, if you live long enough, sooner or later you can be pops too."
there you go. Or Papa or
I don't
Grandpappy?
know. That's a good
What do
question.
your grandkids call you? Old man?
Um, Papa.
I was going to say, do you just can't remember?
Well, who are my grandkids? Do I have grandkids? Yeah, no, Papa. I had to think about it. Papa. They call because they got so my yeah, it's Papa. I don't want to get into that long story, but they've got a lot of hit. Judd's side has got a big family,
Hmm.
and so they have names and initials. I don't know how they do it, but I'm Papa.
Yeah, we kind of sort of did it with my mom's husband. My kids called him, Grandpa Bob, as to differentiate him
I
from
think it's
Papa.
initials like G Daddy or I don't know.
Gee, Daddy.
I don't know how they do it. I can't keep up with it all. I'm just
That's a
Papa.
good one. You should make him start calling you. Hey, I want to be called G Daddy going forward. That could be misconstrued at the right.
Yeah, I think it could be. Yeah, there's
But
something pretty cool about being a grandparent. You don't.
I'm not looking for. I don't want that now, obviously, because all my kids are in their
Well,
early.
you want it to happen in the right timing. Is
Exactly
key.
when they're ready.
Yeah, you ultimately want it to happen, but it's got to be in the right timing.
So
Speaking of that, so the kids at my school are calling me Sigma, and I'm like, I'll walk my class to lunch, and they're like, "Hey,
because
Mr.
they know your college days.
No, that has nothing to do with it." And so they'll go, "Mr. Theus, are you Sigma?" And I'll say, "I am a Sigma Chi." And then I slip them the grip and then go through the challenge.
tell them the
And they
tell them the
fail every
secret
time.
pledge and
They fail the challenge. I'm like,
what's
no,
your line all the time? Pay your dues.
pay your dues, loser. Yeah, I love that line. That's what Thea says, pay your dues. Anyway, so I decided to look it up today. And I said, I think you mean alpha male, don't you? And I said, do you know what Sigma Chi is? And they're like, no. And I'm like, see, you don't, so whatever you're saying. So,
Well,
hold
you
on.
need to start, especially the boys in a, well, someday maybe you'll be lucky enough to be a Sigma Chi.
Yeah, I don't get into that conversation too much at this level because it's probably not appropriate. No, not that it's not appropriate, but we don't do that. But that they keep calling me Sigma, so here's what I wanted to do. Okay, so Alexa, what is the definition of Sigma slang?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, Sigma, as a slang term, was created by far-right activist and writer Theodore Robert Beale to mock the labels of alpha, beta, and omega males. Sigma is used in masculinist subcultures to describe a popular, successful, and self-reliant man.
So then I said, so do you see me as successful and popular and self-reliant? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay.
Do you think that's what they knew it to mean? Did you ask them what their take was? Not that you're not, Dave, and they don't see you
No,
as
no,
that.
no. I understand that. I think they understand it to be it's cool. It's. I don't think
Okay.
they would use. I think they know the word popular, so that's cool.
Right.
And self-reliant. I don't know the self-reliant. Maybe successful. They like that one.
So I would call that a Renaissance man, right? So a do-it-all kind of
I don't know.
person.
I don't know. It's just awkward. You know.
Did you know this far-right person
No, I
she
don't. I
named?
don't know. I don't know what that is.
Robert Beale, I think she said the name was.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not. That doesn't come to my mind.
Well, we're in our new format now of 45 minutes. It's what our listeners have asked for, Dave, and we're going to continue with it. Less is more.
Well, both of them asked for that.
And and tonight is grass height check night in the Woody household.
Do you have a jig?
Um, I wouldn't call it jig. It's called a tape measure, Dave. And it's really, but what we try to do is make sure that my mower is set. So if the front yard's higher than the backyard, you got problems.
Well, it depends on do you have an elevation that's different in the front or back?
Yeah, there's an elevation change in the yard. And when you crest the hill, you got to adjust the deck so that you maintain that same height as you go over the hill, right?
You have a crest in your lawn?
Yes.
So remind me we can't do it tonight. It's too long. But I have this coaching moment in football when we take the kids down. I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but it's hilarious. When we take the kids down to the football field, when you're playing football in high school or middle school, you're never on the football field because the groundskeeper is like, this is holy ground. you can't be on the football field.
Practice in the parking lot.
Yeah, you practice on the tarmac.
It'll make it tougher.
So you just can't get on the grass until it's game day or walk through, which is the day before. And so we have to teach them about walking across the chalk. Can't step on the chalk. Can't step on the emblem. And then I do this whole speech. I can't do it tonight. It's too long, too short. But I give this whole speech about the field and the importance of what makes a football field special and why it's sacred ground.
So
it involves a crest.
Oh, okay.
Pretty funny.
Well, maybe someday you could share that with us next week. I'll make a note.
Yeah, make a note of that
for next week. And by the way, this is our end of season 6 of the Dave and Woody We Can Help show.
So this is season 6, episode 12.
Yes.
And for those that don't know, we are base 12.
Yes.
807, 810.
72.
Right. Set hut. If you would like us to continue,
so surely would you
press 1?
We could do a poll on YouTube on there.
That would be interesting.
2 answers. Me and you.
What is a true marketing sample? Is 35 people or 30. 30 is a true random marketing sample.
Get out of here.
No, it's random. If it's random, a true marketing, a minimum random sample to qualify as a random sample is 30 people.
Really?
Yeah.
That seems awfully light to me.
No, it's got to be random, though.
What the hell's that mean?
I don't know. Just
okay.
What you run into.
I randomly pick people out of the Catholic Church to answer this survey about religion. I mean, that's not random.
No, we did it with a phone book. In marketing research, you would come up with a system like every
40th number.
every 30th number, something like that.
Really? This is fascinating.
That was the one thing I took away from marketing research.
Just
before I dropped it because it conflicted with my drinking schedule. No, that was international banking. I like marketing research. I enjoyed that class. All right, so
time to say goodnight.
Okay. All right. Well, God bless you, Woody, for yet another awesome opportunity, and to our friends and family who enjoy the stories of Geronimo. How we shouldn't take that lightly. Geronimo, he was a great American story, part of our American history, and I honor those people. Okay, that's going nowhere.
Yeah.
All right.
You just ruined 45 minutes worth of work in 13 seconds.
I'm still having anxiety about signing off again. All right, I'm Dave.
I'm Woody.
And you've listened to a great episode until the very end of We Can Help with Dave and Woody. And as always, please subscribe to us on Facebook. No, shit. What are we?
YouTube.
Please subscribe to YouTube and listen to us on Spotify, Spreaker, or iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts. And as always, guard well the honor of the cross. Until next time.